Mental Training 101. And now back to Get Warrior Tough with Andrew and Dutch.
All right, last segment. The hour has flown by. Still got time to use the old Twitter to get in touch with us. Hashtag Get Warrior Tough. Dutch is at D Dutch Coleman. I'm at Warrior Tough PhD. All right, so and we're joined with our special guest, Dr. Steven Zodkoy, tonight, and it's just been amazing. I just love it. Just dovetails in with all the stuff that Dutch and I do day in and day out. We're so excited to connect with you. What's the best way for folks to get in touch with you, Doc?
I think the best way, if they have questions, is they can either email me at szodkoy, which is SZODKOY at hotmail.com. That gets directly to me. Or if they need to schedule something with me, my telephone number is 732-308-0099. It's funny because the work we do is in such demand with balancing out the hormones and getting people, strengthened with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and I love the term burnout. We've treated people from Australia to Qatar. There's such a demand for it now because we're all just overwhelmed with the way life is. And luckily, there is a simple approach to heal people, give them back control and allow them to steadily rebuild themselves. I mean, you talk to people on an average day and they're like, I'm not sleeping well. I can't eat well. I'm fatigued. These are all signs of people that are just burnt out. And I don't think, like you said, enough people are realizing that they have this problem until they're really at the final stage. And then they're just like, I've had enough. So the type of work that we're all trying to do is so important because it's what keeps us going. It's what keeps people working. It keeps parents taking care of their children. Keeps this country going. Is we need to be strong and we need to keep moving. And we really can't do that if we're wearing ourselves out at an early age.
Yeah, it really is, I'll say it this way. Dutch and I always joke, we'll never run out of work. Like, we'll never be out of demand. And neither will you. But do you find, let me ask you this, do you find that the way things are going now with technology and social media and information overload, is that adding to the stress in your, are you seeing that on your end, that it's like not helpful?
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple of things I've noticed. When I went to school and I graduated 25 years ago, we would see people with adrenal issues and burnout, maybe 2-3 out of 100. And now what I noticed is after 9/11 and the financial crash, and then the second financial crash, we'll see it in maybe 45 to 50% of the people will have some sort of adrenal fatigue. And I think technology is a really big part of it because, I'm 52 years old. When we were growing up at 12 o'clock at night, the TV would go to that
they would Star Spangled Banner, and then they put the test card up there. That would
then you'd get
on all 3 channels.
Right now, you could be up all night still watching 100 channels. If your phone rings in the middle of the night, you're like Pavlov's dog. You got to get up and look at it.
Right.
And I think that's really building to a lot of stress. I also think the poor quality of the food we eat is building up to the stress.
That's huge, man.
People used to have a cup of coffee, 5-ounce cup of coffee in the morning. Now I see people at Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I know I'm at Dunkin' Donuts. Filling up with 25-ounce cups.
Hey man, I just get the box of Joe, dude. I'll just drink the whole box. Yeah.
It's ridiculous the amount of physical and emotional stress we're putting on ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're eating food that has no nutritional value to it. And this just one stressor after another stressor. But I think the electronic world is really getting to us. I'll tell you what, I have a lot of women I consult with over the phone, and just being a mother in these days is so much more stressful. Even if you have a healthy, happy child, going to soccer camp and getting the kid the right coach and getting on their special team, it's draining. It's no longer, when I was growing up, you basically ran outside and played around for a while, and probably played on a baseball team. Now these guys are playing on 3-4 teams. They're traveling all around the country, and I'm sure half these kids aren't even that good. It's just the standard now are so high, it's draining for the parents and for the children too, because we're starting to see burnout in children.
Dutch, you see that too. Dutch has 4 kids, and you don't force your kids to do all that stuff, right? I mean, and you're a college athlete. Your wife is like a superstar, college professional athlete, Olympic athlete, and a coach. What's your take on that, man?
I've seen exactly what we're talking about in other kids. So with my kids, with the pressures that exist with my and my wife's careers, I act like those careers didn't even exist from the standpoint of trying to match it. So they have complete, a lot of my peers will push their children into sports because there's almost like a natural, if you were an NBA basketball player and your kid's tall, so it's a natural progression, right? You're going to play basketball as well. Well, we don't do that with our kids at all. As a matter of fact, we sit tight and we wait for them to request it. We don't, and some people may say this is stifling their development, but we don't assume that they're going to do anything. We wait until they ask, and our kids may be a couple years behind because we didn't put them in as toddlers, in the sport that we did. I'm okay with that because what I have done is I've reinforced interpersonal skills. I've reinforced, reading. I reinforced, education, math, all these different things. While I haven't been reinforced in athletics, those things will come when they ask for it because I don't want the pressures to come along with it when they remember how good mama was and people tell them how good how well daddy did this. And I don't want any of that to happen. It's going to come, but I want it to come on their time with their choices, with their understanding of all things. I do not like it when I see kids being pushed, not only into those activities, but into the middle of those pressures.
So are we raising our kids to be in adrenal fatigue from the earliest ages? I mean, it seems like that's what, we're starting them young,
Well, I think that, I think the generation now is in a worse position for a number of reasons. One, life is much more stressful for everybody just because of the world politics. Two, our nutritional food is just totally depleted. It doesn't have nearly as much vitamins and minerals. People don't eat nearly enough fruits and vegetables. Our fish is farm raised. You're not getting the same kind of nutrients out of that. Three, their technological abuse is just unbelievable. These kids can't go off the phone for 20 minutes without growing into a rage. For the competitiveness in both sports and academics is unbelievable. My daughter is getting initiated into the National Honor Society, and you have to have a grade point average of 3.7, which is supposed to be a number high enough to eliminate most of the class. And 25% of her class was able to reach that goal. I mean, that's unheard of. So yeah, we're under a huge amount of stress from all different avenues, and we really need to get our kids involved with eating better, taking time out from the phone and electronics, gentle exercise, and really encouraging some sort of relaxation technique. That said, we all should be doing it as a nation. Because we all have the same problem. It's not just our kids.
Right.
It's all of us. We really need to rebuild ourselves so that we can continue on, being aggressive and moving ahead. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive. There's nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with being a leader. It's what made our country great. but you just don't want to burn yourself out doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the greatest athletes that we see playing, they may not have been the best athletes in high school. The greatest athletes are the ones who can make it through high school, can make it through college, and get through college and get through a professional career. Those are the best athletes because they don't burn themselves out physically or emotionally.
Tom Brady 199 in the draft, baby. I'm just saying.
Well, I tell you that, and it begins with the knowledge, like the knowledge that you are providing and that we're providing. The knowledge of it is going to help you go down a healthier path. So you can still get what you want, but with the full understanding of how the machine works, a full understanding of what is to come on this path and what is to come on that path. So you can choose a path that's going to get you where you want, what you want, but also how you want, with your health intact, with your mind, with the right mindset, all these different things. So that's why this knowledge is critical.
Right. And the other thing is making sure that, people have to go in and not blindly say, well, this drug is going to fix me, this surgery is going to fix me. People have to start thinking about their own health and taking control of it. For too long, people have handed it over to the medical physicians with the drugs. And, now we have an opiate epidemic. Now we have drug epidemic. People really need to start looking at how they can control their own health to continue on fighting.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is also because it's the path of least resistance. So I could just take a drug for that. I could take a drug for this. No, how about, you actually eat your lean protein with a fibrous carb and a healthy fat and put the Twinkie down, step away from the processed potato chips. So I think
it's
yeah, go ahead, Doug.
It's like you said, Andrew, that's why we'll always have a position to help people, because we're battling marketers. We're battling a society that, a free market society that is benefiting from all the poor information. So we're going to always have an opportunity to help people. We're going to always be employed to be out here trying to save lives, because we are going up against a different machine that is not for the health and in the best interest of the people. Again, in a free market society. So we all get that. We're all big boys. We get that. But we have to continue to pump out this information. Items like your book, items like your research, the work that we do on a daily basis. We have a purpose, and we gotta stick with it.
I'm with you.
I agree.
Woo!
And the hour's gone, man.
I know, dude. We're like the Three Musketeers here. Doc, thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. I know how busy you are, and I am just a super huge fan of the work you're doing. And thank you for helping out my fellow brother Marines, man. I really, bottom of my heart, I appreciate what you do for them.
Well, you know what? I think it's all Americans' duties to help out our veterans and active duty personnel, but thank you.
Awesome. All right, Dutch. So this hour has flown by. The week has flown by. Good times. Everybody, it's okay that Clemson lost and Alabama won. I'm wearing my Alabama shirt. Wait, Penn State won too, right, Dutch? You were wearing your Penn State sweatshirt.
Yeah, but Alabama winning and everyone else losing is normal.
Dude, Penn State might get in, baby.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We'll see you next week on the radio. Shout out to Mickey.